Hey Journeyers, it's Irene, and today I'm really excited to have Tiff on the channel. Tiff is a queer Asian American friend of mine who just got a laminectomy and discectomy surgery.
Yes.
So, yeah, maybe if you want to start off by even telling us what the procedure is about, it is pretty interesting to me. I don't know too much about it, so I'm really curious to hear your story.
All right. Well, a laminectomy is basically when the surgeons will shave off a bit of your bone to get to the infected area. In this case, it's my disc, my spinal disc at the L5 region. A discectomy is where they shave off a little bit of the disc itself that's pushing against my spinal cord. In this case, it was brushing up against my S1 nerve, which is my sciatic nerve.
Yeah, and just a few weeks ago, you could barely even walk, right? You
Yeah.
like could barely even do anything at that point. Like how was that? Like, and how long were you unable to kind of move around?
I was out of it for about 4 months. It started like 4 months ago around Thanksgiving time. I couldn't walk. Well, actually, no, it started off with a pinch in my back. Like I thought it was nothing. I thought it was a muscle spasm. And then slowly but surely, it like spiraled into this um, horrendous pain down my left leg. I think I went to a chiropractor thinking it was a muscle problem. And when they adjusted me, I think they popped the disc out a lot more. Like I didn't know what the original problem was. Um, it was difficult to walk around. I couldn't put any pressure on my leg. I was walking around basically crutches. Um, yeah, I was bedridden basically. I was a potato. I couldn't move.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds super scary. Do you know what caused that pain, or it just kind of just started one day with um, like no idea that it was going to happen?
I actually have a history of bad like back pain and just bad back problems. I think it's a series of like back injuries, bad posture, um, not sleeping correctly, just everything kind of mixed into one, and it just kind of exploded one day.
Dang. Yeah, that's crazy. So you mentioned before that you had an epidural and that didn't help at the time.
No, so in most procedures, the epidural is basically where they'll inject a steroid into like directly into your spine, and it's supposed to relieve any pain down the leg. It only helps with pain. It doesn't actually cure the problem. In some cases, it does help people. You're only allowed like 3 epidurals a year, like over the course of like between like 3 months at a time. I went in for one, and it did help a little bit, but then the pain returned because it's only for the pain relief. And then I think I contacted my doctors and they suggested a second epidural or surgery. And I like went back and forth. Like I talked to a couple friends. Luckily, I had friends in the medical field, and they said like you. I had one that was she's a radiologist and she's seen my case before and she like highly recommended surgery as well. So I was lucky enough to have friends in the medical field for that.
Oh, that's so good. I mean, that's just sounds so scary, like trying to decide what to do and like
Yeah,
not being able to move around is such a huge part of your life. Like that's something a lot of people take for granted until,
exactly.
they can't. Yeah, and I have a friend who also was having like really bad back pain. I don't even remember what it was exactly, but I know that they got an epidural and they were able to like move again. Like they literally couldn't move around, just kind of like hobbling around, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
And then after the epidural, like it was good enough, but it's starting to like kind of come back after like I think a few years, and they're trying to decide if they want to get an epidural or figure out if there's like a surgery or something that might be a better fit. How was your procedure with the surgery experience? Like, were you scared? How did you prepare for it mentally or physically?
I was so scared. Like the minute my friend told me like, "Oh, you need surgery," I was like, I was in denial. I'm like, no, let me just try all the non-invasive procedures first. And then I think one day I couldn't make it down the stairs. Because I live my room is at the top of the stairs. I couldn't make it down the stairs one day. I'm like, okay, I can't do this. the pain is excruciating. Even the cold, like my muscles atrophied, and the cold just kind of made it worse, and it was unbearable. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll deal with the surgery. The days leading up to it I was really scared. Like I called my friends, they helped me calm down. They were like, you know what, it's probably it's something that you're doing to like help with your pain. Like who knows what will happen next, but it's better than doing nothing.
Mhm. Yeah. Wow. And then where did you get your surgery and like what was your recovery like?
Well, I got my surgery a week ago. I got it through Kaiser because that was my insurance. My doctor after actually referred me to the Redwood City Kaiser that specializes in spinal surgeries. They were so nice. They were really great bedside manners. The procedure itself, I actually don't remember like any of it because they put me under, and it felt like I blinked and then I woke up back in the hospital bed, like completely painless. And, like I was able to walk immediately after 4 months of not being able to do anything.
Well, that's amazing. And did you sleep overnight or did you wake up and then you just went back home?
I woke up and went back home. They said if there were any complications, I would have to stay there overnight. Luckily, the surgery was a success, and I went home like maybe an hour after. They had to double check to make sure I was walking properly. They helped him, like they showed me how to get in and out of bed, how to walk up and down the stairs properly without um, twisting my body or like causing any pain.
Wow, that's amazing. Um and you probably needed somebody to drive you to the surgery and back.
Oh
You
yeah.
mentioned when we were talking before, you can't drive yet. So like what are kind of some of the limitations at the moment?
Oh, they gave me like a whole procedure. They said no BLTs, no bending, lifting, or twisting. But and no driving for about 2 weeks. Recovery period is about 4 to 6 weeks from surgery date. Yeah, no driving, no bending, lifting, or twisting. But I could walk at least an hour or two a day. I could sit up and yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Because before you couldn't even sit for a few hours at a time, right?
Yeah, I was basically leaning all to my right since my pain was on my left side, and I'm just like trying to alleviate pressure off that disc. Um, Leaning didn't really help, and I was basically taking like Advil and Tylenol, like all the medications on top, and I was counting down the hours, like okay, when's my next dosage? Like when can I take it? This pain is unbearable. Yeah,
Oh man, that's crazy.
sorry.
And no
That
worries, I
was
can hear the dogs in the back. Yeah, because did you talk to your doctor about like the max amount of like ibuprofen or acetaminophen? So that's like Advil name and Tylenol name. Like, did they give you like I guess some kind of estimate of how many you could take a day safely?
yeah. So on the Advil bottle, I think it says you can only take 6 pills a day. I think I can't remember. Don't quote me on that. But my doctor recommended I think 800 milligrams of Advil at least 3 or 4 times a day. And then I think he later on switched it up, saying I could take 600 3 or 4 times a day with 1,000 milligrams of Tylenol
Mhm,
3 times a day because they don't interact with each other, so it's okay to take both at the same time.
mhm. Yeah, I mean, I kind of have to do something similar with my menstrual cycle. Like when I have my period, it is so extremely painful. Yeah, I think the bottle tells you to take like, one pill, maybe two if you need it. And like I need to take like two each time and like every like few hours, or I literally can't even walk. Like the pain is like unbearable. And I'm like,
Yeah.
trying everything. Like I'll use like a little bit of I take Advil and then sometimes I'll switch it off with Tylenol so I'm not taking like too much of one type. And I have like a little CBD balm oil that I'm using too.
Yes.
I'm just like it's just the pain is like unbearable. Like I literally can't even move. Like I don't even know. I wouldn't be able to function without it. Like it's just
Yeah.
so painful. Like I'm just like huddled over and I'll use like a heat pack. I'm like I'll do anything. Whatever that can
Pretty
maybe
much.
work so I can just live.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was me too.
Oh my gosh. Well, That's amazing. So since the surgery, have you needed to take any medication? Like, is there anything you need to do, or like anything for your scar that you need to do treatment for?
For the medication, they prescribed me cyclobenzaprine, which is a muscle relaxant, and hydrocodone for the pain, for like just the basic scar pain from the, like the incision. I and also stool softener. So I took it for like the first 3 days, and then after that, I didn't feel like I needed it because honestly, the pain, the scarring pain or anything in my back is nothing compared to my leg pain. So I just kind of like weaned off it for a while.
Hmm. And so,
Yeah.
does your leg feel fine now? No issues there.
It feels tight sometimes. Like it feels like it's cramping only because I lost a lot of muscle mass. I lost like 10 pounds during whole this whole thing, and I'm slowly building the muscle back. And I do get cramps here and there, but it's not so bad.
Wow. Dang. I'm so glad to hear like you're doing so much better now. Like I'm excited for you to start being able to do stuff again. And you mentioned before like your work was pretty understanding of it and letting you take medical leave and get some
Hmm.
time off.
Yeah, yeah. I it started back in January where I was slowly just working from home because I couldn't walk around work. And I think after about 2 weeks, they decided to put me on disability. They're still paying me, and then I've just been extending it like week by week depending on my conditions by then. And now I finally have like a definitive date of when I can return, which is now April. Yeah,
Mhm.
but
Yeah,
they're super understanding about it. I have coworkers reaching out to me, just like checking up on me. But yeah.
that's so good. I mean, what a relief to hear that the surgery went well. Do you have any tips for people who might be like, what exactly was like the condition, and then what exactly like, I guess the name of it all, like, was it just like a bulging disc, or what exactly happened again?
Yeah, so the condition is called like either a herniated disc or a bulging disc. I actually didn't know the difference until recently. A herniated disc is where your disc nucleus is broken and the fluid leaks onto your spinal cord, causing an irritation. But what I had was a bulging disc, so the disc itself wasn't broken; it was just protruding out. For herniated disc, since there's fluid leakage, your body will actually recognize it and reabsorb it over time. But since it's a bulge, your body doesn't recognize it as anything different, and it should heal on its own. It will only take several months down the line, if any, if it does heal at all. Um, yeah. Sorry, I can't remember the question.
Oh no, that's what I kind of wanted to clarify too, because I didn't even remember what exactly it was. Like I knew there was some kind of disc issue and it's like giving you spinal pain, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what is even the, the name of what happened? Like, yeah, I mean, yeah. If you do you have any tips for people who might be also suffering from like a bulging disc and kind of considering like either like epidural or considering a surgery?
I would say icing it and using a heat pack helped a lot. Even though it doesn't cure the problem, it helps like with the pain at least. Definitely like talk to your doctor as quickly as you can. They'll probably prescribe you some medication first. Probably do some non-invasive procedure. If it's really that bad, if it really lasts for longer than like 3 or 4 months, I would definitely say go in for surgery. I mean, there are some people that where they'll do like 2 or 3 epidurals and it'll never return after that. But I think it's just case, it depends on the case.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, that's so scary. I mean, like even a while ago, I didn't realize like people would do epidurals for this type of pain,
Yeah, me
this type
neither.
of issue. Yeah, because like most people think of epidural, they think of people having a baby and
Yeah.
needing the pain relief during childbirth. So yeah, this has been a very eye-opening experience. And in terms of like how you kept yourself mentally well, what do you think helped in like, I don't know, keeping your mental well-being up during this really tough past few months?
It was really tough. like at the beginning, I thought I can do it. I was like, okay, I'm mentally strong. I'm fine. I can deal with this. I had a great support system. I had like friends, I had family, everyone, like reaching out to me, telling me like, oh, you're gonna get through this. You're gonna be okay. Like this is just a hurdle. Um, there were some days where it just got really dark. I'm like, I don't know if I can walk again. Like the pain is so just so excruciating. Like it really it was debilitating. I try to keep positive. I just thought like, okay, I just kept reminding myself like, okay, after I get better, these are the things I wanted to do. I wanted to go rollerblading. I want to go see my friends. I want to go like do all these other things. I reminded myself of all the things I love doing, like making films, going out to dances and stuff like that. Like I just
Yeah.
kept reminding myself it does get better.
Yeah. And you mentioned when we were talking, you finally went to Target for the first time.
Yeah, but yeah, I tried to stretch my legs. Going to Target before when I did have my sciatica. I did go to Target, but I rented one of those carts, but it wasn't the same.
Mhm. So you got to wander around like
Hmm.
on your own, like no crutches, nothing, just walking, and it
Hmm. Pretty
and it
much.
was fine.
It was the best feeling, like being able to walk again. It honestly felt like I got, as cheesy as it sounds, I got a second chance at life.
Yeah, seriously. When I mean, I injured my Achilles before, and I was like wearing a boot, and it was just
Oof,
like so hard to get around. Like going up and down the stairs, I think was
yeah.
probably the hardest because it's like so uneven because I'm wearing like a giant boot on one side and a regular shoe on the other side, or even like because before at home I didn't wear shoes in the house, and then I started getting into wearing shoes indoors because it was so uneven. Like I have, because we're Asian and we're used to like not wearing shoes indoors. Like I was just like, oh, I actually need to wear a shoe now because my foot is so uneven. It's like one foot
Yeah.
is like so much higher off the ground than the other. Then I have like, now I'm like really really into wearing shoes indoors, but I wear shoes that I don't wear outside to not track
Mm,
like outside dirtiness in and around the house, like up and down the stairs or anything. So I have like pairs of shoes that I strictly just wear indoors if I'm like exercising indoors or anything, which has been helpful during COVID because now I have shoes that I can wear indoors and exercise in too. Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. So that's awesome. So I mean, what I guess is next? So you're just the next few weeks you're just resting and recovering, or what did kind of the doctors tell you to do?
Mostly just resting, recovering, like stretching my legs, walking around as much as I can, an hour or two a day. And then they scheduled a video chat with me in a couple of weeks just to see where I'm at and assess my like, conditions from there.
Gotcha. So you're going to have no more plans of any more epidurals or any more surgeries, any more
Oh no,
medications after that?
no. Um, I think they also mentioned like 3 months after the procedure, I shouldn't be lifting anything too heavy. I can't be like going to the gym excessively or anything like that. Um, but yeah, just take it easy for the time being, and then build up back muscle, like strengthen my core if I can.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. Um, I guess just to wrap things up, if there's, where can people find out a little bit more about you?
Well, I do have a Facebook, and also have an Instagram, but I'll probably post a lot more on there. It's my handle is Chip Bun Me. I don't know if you want to add it to like
Oh,
the
yeah,
link.
you can spell it out and then I'll also put it in the description.
Yeah, it's a ChipBanH,
Nice, nice. And then just to give a little shout out, we met through the SAS group on Facebook. You want to share a little bit more about it or your experiences
Uh,
with the group, since this is a mostly a queer show, anyways.
oh yeah. So SAS is a forum on Facebook for like any queer anyone in the queer community. They're super nice, really open. They'll just post memes, like just random anything, any questions. It's a great community to be a part of.
Yeah, and it stands for Subtle Asian Sapphic Squad, and it's pretty cool. Like we've been able to become friends through it, and we didn't even know each other here in the San Francisco Bay Area,
Yeah.
and then like to meet on an international group for like queer Sapphics of Asian descent or Asian background, I guess. Like it's so cool. It's so crazy to like meet people like in your own local area through like an international group.
Yeah.
And that's like really awesome. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to you doing more stuff in the future, posting, making films. So Tiff has a hobby of filmmaking and an interest in, I guess, editing, video editing.
Yeah. I love video editing. So hit me up if anyone needs like tips or wants me to edit any videos.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Well, thanks again for coming on the show. Just to signing off as usual. We'll take a deep breath in together. Deep breath out. Have a good rest of your day, everyone. Take care.
Bye. Thanks, Irene, for having me.